Hey internet, so I've had a busy IT weekend this weekend, so I haven't really been able to get into the garage very much, and it was a bit trashed, so you've seen that I haven't really got the room to do much in the work at the moment. Anyway, what am I doing? I'm starting to rob the new D1. I'm starting to rob the new D1 of the bits that I need for the finished D1, and so things like the absolute hen's teeth fairing brackets that you just can't get. I found one for sale on eBay from an American seller, and I think it was up for $179. You know, it was probably about a fiver back in the day, but you just can't get them. So I'm having these for the D1. What else am I having? Oh, the exhaust. So I suppose I should have done a video on this, but as anybody who's watched the videos in the past will know, I'm a big fan of the Neta exhausts. My original 81 D1 had a lovely black chrome, I think that's what it's referred to as, Neta exhaust, and mine had the gold anodized can. Loved the sound of it. Everybody used to say, God, that sounds fantastic. And in amongst all of the stuff that I got from John from France was a couple of Neta exhausts. Well, I wasn't sure what sort of condition they were in, and but because like everything, they were all covered in, I don't know, you know, it's just they've been in this shed uncovered for years, and you know, they get dusty and dirty and damp, I guess, and you know, they looked really, really bad. Anyway, so I thought I'll have a bit of a go on the Neta exhaust and see how I can do with that. And I'm quite pleased at how it's come up. Let me just get it. Right, so like I say, should have done a video on this and I didn't. It's got some corrosion on there, you know, but I don't know how well the camera shows that. But I think that has come up really, really nice. I've got an electrical polisher, and I've used this stuff that I found on Amazon called Peak, and it's for chrome and metal, anything really. But yeah, it's for aluminium and metal, stainless steel, chrome, that sort of thing. So I've used quite a lot on that, and I mean, I'm never going to get rid of the corrosion, am I? But I think that looks really nice. So this is going on the finished D1, and that lovely pipe that Marius welded up for me will either go on the new D1 when I finish the restoration on that. Obviously got to start it first, or I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, the downpipes are in really good condition. There's hardly any corrosion on them at all. But I mean, obviously this is the main thing that you'll see, and I'm really quite pleased with that. The only other thing at the moment that I've pinched off the D1, and I'm going to use it as a bit of a parts bin. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to strip it ridiculously, but it's very, very original, and it's got parts on there that my finished D1 hasn't, and it's only a small part really, but it's the seal for the nose cone fairing that goes between for the screen, and that sits on the nose cone fairing, and then the screen sits on that. Well, there isn't one on this D1, and there isn't one on my Z550 that I finished as a D1, so I'm having that as well. Those brackets, I'm obviously going to paint them. And the other thing I noticed as well, let me just show you, is the off the clocks. Now I'm not going to change the clocks because they're in good condition, but this centre section, I mean look, all the paint has not come off on these. That's in really good condition, so I'm thinking of having this as well, and just to tidy that up even more. And then yeah, the D1, what's going to happen with this is, I cleaned it the other day, got some, well, I've got some engine degreaser, so I've used a bit of that because the engine was really caked in, again, you know, I can't really describe it, just crap from being sat outside for so long, I think, or, you know, not covered up and not protected by anything. And it's come up all right. It looks a lot better than it did, but you know. So I got some of the degreaser on it, and then I got some of the muck off. You know, muck off. I said motorcycle clean. I've used that in the past. That's always pretty good. So I gave it a good coating of that as well, and then just washed it off. I haven't pressure washed it or anything. Just had the hose on it. But yeah, I think it looks better already. Like I say, I know I'm sort of using it as a parts bin at the moment, but I just want to make the finished D1 as pinch perfect, I suppose you'd say, as I can. So yeah, that lovely chrome Motad is coming off, the Neta's going on, and you know that the clock's in there as well. Can't think of anything else. Yeah, so what's going to happen with the new D1? Well, the chain I found in amongst the stuff, and I thought it was a really knackered old chain and threw it away, and then I realised it was off the D1, so I fished it back out again, and it's just because it's filthy and it's just been left, I don't know, on the floor or something, so it's currently soaking in the degreaser. Hopefully that won't damage any seals that might be in there if it's a O-ring chain. Really what I want to do is just, I mean, I know I could turn it over by hand, but I just wanted to get the chain on so you could see, A, if the engine seized. I'm sure it won't be, fingers crossed, and you know, if I can get it running, then I'll be able to check the gears and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all good. Carbs are back on it now, and nothing really much more to say on that. It's just finding the time to do it. I'm a bit busy with IT, and hey, you've got to make hay while the sun shines, and certainly that is my priority. But yeah, I've got more room now. The other two things have gone. I've still got to sort through the big box of bits, and so yeah, all good. I'll get these brackets painted today, and then that's going to be about it really. So yeah, I'll hopefully get in the garage tomorrow and do a bit more, but we'll just have to see. Okay, thanks very much. Good morning, internet. So I'm on holiday now. Got a little bit of time off work, which is really nice. And this morning I'm going to do a little bit of work on the D1, the keeper. You know, the lovely finished one. I'm going to be replacing the exhaust and trying the Neta pipe on it, and also we're going to be doing the flappy headlamp fairing. So I've got the brackets off the donor D1. We'll just call it the donor D1 for now, even though it is going to be restored. So yeah, there are a few bits off that, as I'd said in the previous. Again, this video is a bit of a mashup of over a number of different days. So I took the brackets off the donor D1, painted them all up. They're all ready to go on. So there's some stuff I've got to take off, but I do want to see if that Neta exhaust will fit. I'm really pleased with how it cleaned up. It looks great now. The downpipes are pretty unmarked anyway, so that's good. And like I say, the chrome Motad, if the Neta's okay, and it's fine when it goes on this, the chrome Motad will be going on the donor D1 when I do the restoration on that. So, you know, nothing goes to waste, of course. eBay, the engines have just gone. They've been picked up this morning. So we've got through quite a lot. I really just need to get my head out and sort through the boxes to see what we need to keep. A few comments coming in. One off Michael, thank you very much, pointing out that the gear selector is wrong on the D1, this one. So again, I'm going to be pulling that off the donor D1 and we'll be using that. The donor D1 seems extremely original. Now I suppose you could say, well, you know, you should be concentrating on keeping that all together, but you know, I'm keeping them both, so you know, neither one of them will be sold. So yeah, I'll have one which is absolutely perfect, which is going to be this one. So yeah, that's the reason for doing that. So yeah, I'll first job of the day, get this exhaust off, get the Neta on, fire it up, see if it's all right, and then we'll move on to the headlamp fairing and what have you. So yeah, great, let's go. Sounds brilliant. Really loving the Neta exhaust, it's staying on. So yeah, all good there. Just noticed though, clutch adjustment is awful, so we're going to just tweak that up while we're outside. There's one less job off the list. The other good thing is with this Neta exhaust, the bracket is right, and now it's stopping the centre stand hitting the chain. The actual bump stop on the bottom of that bracket is in the right place, so yeah, all good. I've tightened it all up now and it's not blowing, it all sounds great. So let's just whip that clutch up and, like I say, another job off the list really. we've adjusted the clutch. That's fine now. Got a good handle on it, and I've just tested it, and it engages properly, and you can move through the gears and what have you. Interesting though, because I was going to swap the linkage, the gear linkage, and Michael had said on a comment it's the wrong gear linkage. And I'm a bit confused now because it's completely wrong. It's not just a little bit wrong. It's not just it's the gear selector lever. Let me show you. So if you look on here, you've just got the gear selector lever going straight to the gear shaft. You know, there's nothing else. Okay, right, let's go and have a look at the D1, the donor D1. And here you can see, obviously got the bracket there, or the linkage on the gear shaft going down to a pivot point at the front. Then off that pivot point comes the gear selector. Now, where you can see where the actual selector lever is mounted and hinging, if you like, my D1 hasn't got one of them, so now I'm sort of quite confused. Not too sure. Anybody want to bob any comments on about that? You see on here, well, the linkage would be from there, and it would be there's a pin there, which is what the gear linkage is on, coming back. You know, so you've got that. So that's very confusing for me. Okay, so anyway, that's done for now. So we've got a good clutch, tightened this up. I need to check some other nuts and bolts, but I'm going to do the fairing next. And the weather's so nice, I might just stay outside actually. It's a non-genuine fairing, I'll say. And I mean, they've mounted it incorrectly, I know that. I mean, they've got these bolts here going through to brackets on the bottom, and it should have a bracket under there. I mean, we can look at the one that's come off the donor D1 when I get this one off, but let's just pop this one off and then we can have a bit of a comparison. Right, so this is the one we've just taken off the bike. As you can see, there's no it's very nicely painted inside, but no made in Japan, so I definitely think this is a pattern part. So if you look at the one that's come off the D1, made in Japan, and look, see this bracket. So the bottom of the headlamp fairing, or the nose cone fairing, has got a flat piece there that this bracket can mount on, and if you compare that directly with ours on the new one, no way that can fit on here. So really, this is the genuine deal. This is a fakey bakey, but you know, yeah. So just hopefully those holes will line up with the brackets that we want to put on. Okay, what is a little bit concerning at this stage is the fact that I'm taking these screws out here. If you look at the back, there's screw holes that haven't been used. Now I reckon that they're the ones that are going to line up with the brackets. So I don't know where it's going to leave us with this screen. We're just going to have a look. Okay. So got the brackets in. Let's do a bit of jiggery pokery. I'm just going to go and see if they line up on the bike before we do anything else, and then we'll get the little brackets on first. So let me just go and check. So that's about it for this video, I think. Really pleased with what we've done today. I think the Neta exhaust looks absolutely bang on. Really pleased with that. I think it sounds great as well. The brackets for the nose cone fairing, they fit. They're really good. It's like I say, it's a non-genuine fairing, I guess, but it'll do. We have had one casualty today, unfortunately, which is I over-tightened one of the screws and I've cracked the corner of the screen. So I'm going to have to replace that screen at some point, not today, not just at the moment, but yeah, I am going to have to replace it. I also found some covers for the top of the shocker, you know, where you can adjust the air pressure in the legs, in the shocks, so I've put those on as well. Like I say, the bracket that's off the back of the exhaust now stops the centre stand from hitting the frame, so that's all good. I've been out and got some fuel, put a nice gallon or so of E5 in it, just to keep the cleaning process going. Every time I start it now, it gets easier, apart from the fact that I've still got to do this damned switch. That's not bad, it's really quite cold. Yeah, it's really quite cold, so and that's without any choke. So yeah, we're virtually there for taking her out. What have I got left to do now? That side stand switch, a spring for the peg there. I've got another mirror because it's got a broken mirror, just the corner of the glass is broken, so I've got a mirror to go on that. And then just again, just a bit of a general check round to make sure all the bolts are tight. Just got to wait for the V5 to come back from the DVLA for the change of taxation class, because obviously over 40 years old now, so no tax or MOT required, and then just get it insured and get it out. Weather's starting to get a little bit milder. I've been working outside today, which is the first time this year, which is good for mid-March. It's probably a little bit milder than it should be, but yeah, I'm really pleased with it. Donor bike, which is still outside at the moment, I've got to bring in. Yeah, well, that's something for another day. I'm still thinking about swapping the centre dash, you know, just the centre panel with the fuel gauge and what have you in, just because it's a bit tidier on the donor bike. But other than that, oh yeah, there's just this question over what on earth is the thing with the gear linkage. I have no idea what we're going to do about that. But yeah, I really just want to get out on it now and give it a good road test. But like I say, I want to make sure everything's, excuse me, I want to make sure everything's tight before I do. So yeah, that's it for today. Thanks very much for sticking with me. If you haven't already, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you're liking the videos. Other than that, I shall see you next time. Okay, bye.